Yo, what's up, everyone? How you feeling? I hope y'all doing okay. Yo, this one right here, this is dedicated to my boy Chris, my brother Chris. I didn't forget about you, bro. This one right here, bro, I've been waiting on this one for a reason because this one right here interweaves with other stories. And instead of telling one big story, I have to think of a way to sideline those other stories. That way you're not getting multiple stories at once. Because you got to remember these things that were taking place in my life, especially during that time, all of these things were happening simultaneously. Like I said before, we had just moved into a house, and my uncle had started teaching me martial arts because I kept getting in fights. And then I met this girl that I really, really liked. Like I said, this all happened around the same time. So I have to think of where to begin this story and everything, bro. I don't want you to get too sidetracked with these other plot lines that were happening, these things that were taking place. But I would do my best to give you this story anyway because I did promise you you would like this one, and I still believe you would. Um, yeah, this one right here, this is one of those bittersweet ones. The best way to describe it is one of those bittersweet stories because not every story is meant to have a happy ending. Um, it's more of the message that's conveyed that you need to pay attention to. What is the moral of the story? That's what's important, not whether or not it has a happy ending. Was there a lesson to be learned? So, anyway, um, where should I begin? Um, I'm thinking about relaxing over here for a second because they got a nice patch of shade right here, and I don't want to move. I don't want to go back inside either. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna hang out right here for a minute. So, okay, so to begin, now this takes place when um, when I was 10 years old. We had moved into this new house, right? We had lived in a very rough neighborhood, and my mom didn't want to live there anymore. So she moved into this new house, right? Now, before we moved in, uh, the couple that was living there uh, that was going to rent the space to us, the husband had passed away inside of the house right before we moved in, and my mom still moved in, okay? Which was creepy enough already. So uh, we moved into this house and everything, and uh, I would say we had been there for about a week or so at this point. Um, the apartment, we lived on the second floor. the apartment that was downstairs from us was empty. Um, so these people owned the entire apartment building. Okay, it used to be a two-family house, but it got renovated into apartments. But they never really got to finish working on it because the husband and wife, they decided they didn't want to live there anymore for whatever reason. Uh, I never we never really figured out why they wanted to move so suddenly. I think I know now, but I can't say for sure. But we had been there for about a week or so, and the apartment that was downstairs from us, uh, someone finally decided to rent it. And I saw them the day that they were moving in. Um, it was a it was a woman named Antoinette and her son Javon. Hello, how are you? Um, so they were getting ready. They were moving into this apartment. I remember I was upstairs in the hallway and I saw them. I looked downstairs and I saw them when they were moving in. I was curious about who they were, man. You know, looking to see um, if I could meet a new friend to play with because I was new to this neighborhood too. So um, there was Antoinette and her son Javon, and there was a girl with her. It was this real beautiful, pretty girl I saw with them, and I saw her. I saw her walk into the apartment, and on a scale to 1 to 10, this girl was like a 700, bro. I remember I seen her, I was like, yo, who is that? And like my eyes was following her as she walked into the apartment. I wanted to know who she was. She was very beautiful. And but I didn't get a chance to talk to her that day. I only got to see her. So um about a couple of days later, I remember after coming home from school that day, I was upstairs. I was in the house like fixing me like a snack or something. And then I could hear like rumbling downstairs in the hallway. And I ran out into the hallway to see what's going on down there. And I looked down and there was this boy and this girl jumping my younger sister. And my older sister wasn't around. I don't know where she was. But this boy and this girl was jumping my sister. So I immediately jumped into the fight. I started fighting the boy. Um, my mom and her friends, my mom and a couple of her friends had walked up and they saw us fight and they came and broke us up. And of course I got grounded again because I kept getting in fights, like always. But this time I didn't start it. I didn't even know who these kids were. I tried to explain this to my mom, like I saw them jumping my little sister. What was I supposed to do? Have a rational conversation about it? Ask them why they're jumping her? Of course not. I want to fight too. I was only 10 years old. What did you expect? So that happened. I get grounded. I can't go outside for a few days, right? So um, after that time passed, um, that was when let me see, yeah. So when that time had passed, those few days had passed. When I was finally able to go outside again, I couldn't wait. I had went outside that day. I was so happy, man. And I was just sitting outside on the front porch by myself, thinking about of how I want to spend my time. And next thing I know, I heard a voice standing behind me. It was a female. I heard her saying hi, like saying hello to me and stuff. And I turned around, and it was the girl that I saw enter an apartment that day that I wanted to speak to, but I didn't get a chance to. It was her. She came outside to speak with me. So, girls used to make me nervous during this time, very. So when she spoke to me, I said hi back to her. I was really surprised she was even talking to me. So, oh, excuse me, my allergies are really bad. So she said hi to me. I spoke back. She asked me what my name was. I told her my name, and I asked her, "What is your name?" She said her name is Siobhan. So then she asked me. She said, "How old are you?" I said 11 because I had just turned 11 the other day. Like I had just turned 11. I had just got off punishment too. Like I said, it was a lot of interweaving stories. I don't want to be telling all these stories at the same time. But I kind of have to mention these things in order for this story that I'm telling, to make sense. Because they were happening all at the same time. But anyway, she asked me how old I am. I said 11. Now, like I said, I was sitting down on the porch. She said, "You're 11?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Stand up." And I stood up, and she started laughing at me because of how short I was. Like I said before, I was always very short, very small for my age. Like, I could easily pass for like 7 or 8 years old during this time, easily. So she started laughing at me, and I felt embarrassed, man. And I'm thinking to myself, when she started laughing, I started thinking to myself, like, man, she's never gonna like me. She thinks I'm a rank. So I'm about ready to just turn around and go upstairs. Like, this isn't gonna work. But she obviously came outside to talk to me for a reason. So I asked her, I said, "Well, how old are you?" She said, "I'm also 11, and I just turned 11 last week." So it was it was funny. It was a funny situation because my birthday was just the other day. I had just turned 11 the other day, and she had just turned 11 the other week, and yet this girl is almost twice my size. This girl is towering over me. My head came to like her chest. She was much taller than me. But we were the same age. It was funny, bro. So I guess that's why she started laughing. Then I understood. That was when I understood the joke. I thought she was laughing at me for being small, but the reality was she couldn't believe that we were actually the same age, and both of our birthdays had just passed within a week of each other's. So that was kind of crazy. So she said, "Yeah, I just turned 11 last week," and she said my brother's birthday is coming up this Saturday. Now that day I was talking to her, on this particular day, I believe it was like a Wednesday, because my birthday had just passed. And she said her brother's birthday is that weekend. He's having a birthday party on Saturday, and she told me that I should come. And I'm like, well, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, like this girl, the first time I saw her, I wanted to ask her out. But yet here it is, she's asking me out instead. I'm like, yo, this is exactly what I wanted. I said, of course I want to go. Even though I don't know your brother, um, she said, don't worry. Um, don't worry about it. I got this part right here. Just don't worry. You just make sure you come. And so when that Saturday came around, Um, so when that Saturday came around, she showed up at my house, and she's like, "Are you ready to go?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Let's roll." So we went outside in front of the house, and for some reason, that boy that I was fighting, that I saw jumping my sister that day, he was standing outside of my house like he was waiting for me so we can fight or something. He was just standing in front of my house, and I'm like, what the hell? So when I see him, I'm like, what, you want to fight, bro? I was just looking to impress your mind. We started fighting right then and there, bro. We started throwing hands. Um, like I said, I wanted to impress this girl anyway. I want her to see me beat someone up in a fight. She might like me more. Um, so we started fighting. The boy's cousin would just so happen to see us fighting. She was older than us, and she broke us up. I was lucky that it was her who broke us up instead of my mom, because my mom broke us up last time, and I end up getting grounded. If she sees me fighting him again, I'm going to get grounded again. Luckily, my mom didn't see the fight, so I got lucky. And I told Siobhan, I said, we need to leave now before my mom finds out what just happened. And we left. We left. We went to our house. So um, she introduced me to her brother when we got over there. She introduced me to her brother, and she told her brother the plan. Like, listen, he's here for your birthday party. This is your new friend. That's the story. This is your friend. So that's what they went with. When we introduced, when I was introduced to her mom, I was introduced as her brother's friend instead of hers. Because her mom did not like her hanging out with boys, like whatsoever. I had found that part out. So, like I said, she was a very beautiful girl, so her mother was very protective over her. And plus, she was the only girl. So, I was introduced as her brother's friend, and I was simply there to attend her brother's party. So, you gotta forgive me. There's an airplane passing by. Please forgive me. I'm sorry for all the noise. And sorry if this story feels a bit jostled. Like I said, there were a lot of things taking place at this time. I don't want to drag on too long with this story because I feel like it's already long enough as it is. And that doesn't even include the other things that were happening during this time. So, um, so yeah, I got introduced as her brother's friend, and her mom had told us. She said, why don't you and him go outside for a few minutes while me and Siobhan we set up. They going to start setting up the party and getting ready for the guests to arrive. So that was what we did. Me and him went outside, and I quickly found out that her brother likes to play with matches, and I never played with matches. So I already felt uncomfortable. I was wondering what this guy was going to do next. I had a bad feeling, and sure enough, this kid set a fire in the hallway and almost burned down the entire apartment building. The police were called, the fire department was called. Her mom was worried. She wanted to know what we were doing while we downstairs in that hallway in the first place. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I just met this kid. I didn't know he was going to do that. But I could not tell her mother that I just met him. I couldn't. I had to keep that secret because then it would have. She would have found out while I was really there. So while all these questions are being thrown at us, I'm just sitting there quiet. I'm not saying anything, man. But I was scared, man. That fire scared me. I thought he was going to kill everyone in the building, man. I'm thinking to myself, like, this kid is psycho, bro. I don't want to be friends with him. And so me and Siobhan, we had snuck off to the side, and I started talking to her. I'm like, yo, what is wrong with your brother? Is he crazy? Like, what is he doing? Why would he do that? Like, yo, I don't want to hang with this guy anymore. I'm kind of wanting to go home now. Before this kid gets me into a lot of trouble. He's doing stuff that I don't do. I don't do stuff like this. I don't set fires. And she was like, don't worry about it. You're here with me, man. Just just don't say anything. She was basically consoling me, trying to get me to, you know, not want to leave. So I said, okay, I said, I forgive you this time. I'm gonna act like this did not happen, but I'm not happy, yo. I wasn't feeling it. So her mom still threw the party for him. That surprised me. I thought she was going to cancel the party because of what he had just did, and but she didn't. The party went on. The party continued. It was a pretty nice party. Everybody came. They danced. They listened to music. Uh, uh, he cut some cake, blew out the candles. Everybody went home except for me. Um, and the reason why is because Siobhan, she pulled me to the side again. She was like, she was like, you should ask my mom if you could stay the night. Now, again, I'm thinking to myself, I really want to get away from this dude. Uh, I think he has problems. So she was like, come on, you're not here for him, you're here for me. She was like, you just gotta ask her if you could spend a night with him, but you ain't gotta even, you're actually here with me. So I was just like, I was apprehensive. I was like, all right, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. So when I asked her mom if I could hang out there for tonight, and she said, yeah, it's like, cool. And that was it. Um, I don't know what happened next. I must have been pretty tired because I passed out right there on the floor in the living room. I had fell asleep on the floor that night. And I remember I woke up that morning and I looked up, and Siobhan is like standing over me, looking down at me like this, like with a big. She's like blushing and stuff, like like it made her happy to see me laying there asleep or something. So I sat up and I said, what are you doing? Like, why are you watching me like this? What's wrong with you? She said, I want to dance. She said, dance with me. And I'm like, yo, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm hungry. Like, what do you got to eat? She was like, come on, I'm serious. I want you to dance with me. And she turned the radio on. A song by Elton John was playing. I never heard it before, but I liked it. She was like, she said, "Come on, I'll teach you." She even knew that I did not know how to dance. She was like, "Come on now." I think I had. Oh yeah, I did tell her. I told her I didn't know how to dance. She said, "Come on, I'll teach you." And so she started teaching me how to dance, man. I had never danced with a girl before. That was the first time. I'm having a lot of different experiences with this kid already. Uh, she's very adventurous, to say the least. Uh, so she taught me how to dance, and then when the song went off, she leaned in to kiss me. I got really nervous, man, because like I said, I have never done stuff like this before. So she started laughing at me. She started laughing at how nervous I was around her and stuff like that. I started feeling like a loser, bro. Like, man, if I keep up with this girl is going to lose interest in me. She's not going to hang out with me anymore. So when she leaned in to kiss me, I had backed up, and she had gave me my space or whatever, but she just kind of laughed it off. So I had went home, right, that weekend. Now the next weekend came around. Uh, I saw her. She came to her godmother's house again, Antoinette. She was downstairs from us, and I went down there and I said hi to her, or whatever. We talked about the party a little bit, and then she said, I told her that what she did, that trick she did with her brother to get me to spend the night, I want her to do the same thing with my sisters. And she had no problem with doing it. She actually did it. I brought my sisters downstairs. I introduced her to my two sisters, and yeah, I had introduced her to my two sisters, and that was the plan. The plan was to convince my mom to let her spend the night with us, the same way I spent the night with her brother. So that was what that was how it worked. So my mom agreed to it. So instead of her spending the weekend downstairs with her godmother Antoinette, she was spending the night with me at my house. Like, bro, this girl was making me do stuff I ain't never do before, bro. I'm telling you, man. She was teaching me how to deal with girls, bro. I didn't know nothing about girls at this time. She was like schooling me, bro. And I would help her with like her homework and stuff because I was real smart in school. I was getting A's and B's across the board. Even though she was a grade higher than me, I was still able to do her homework for her. Well, not actually do her. I never actually did her homework for her. I was able to help her with her homework, I should say. So, what was I saying? So yeah, we convinced my mother to let her spend the night, and we started doing that. We started doing that almost every weekend. Like she would, She would show up to spend the night at her godmother's house, right? But she would end up spending the night upstairs with us instead. And for a while, her mom did not know that this was happening. And until her mom actually showed up at Antoinette's house one day. And, we knew it was only a matter of time before she figured out what was happening. So, me and my sisters introduced ourselves to her. And my mom, we introduced her to my mom too, so nothing seemed too suspicious. The game plan was simple. She had to pretend like she's friends with my sisters. I mean, at this point, she did become friends with them, but, you know what I mean? She wasn't actually there because of them. But no one had to know that. So, yeah, she started coming in my house a lot, man. And I don't want to make this story too long, but on the weekend, she would show up. The more time I spent with this girl, the more I loosened up. I stopped being so nervous and afraid around her all the time. Even when she'll like grab me and kiss me on the cheek and stuff, I used to be nervous. Like, and then she went from doing that, she went from kiss me on the cheek to kiss me on the lips. She was making me get used to her and stop being nervous all the time. And I guess she saw it. In my mind, she saw that as weakness, bro. But for whatever reason, she seemed to still like me. And I didn't understand why. I understand now why she still liked me, but back then I didn't understand. It seemed like she just was being nice to me for no reason. So, but yeah, after a while, I stopped being nervous around her all the time. I started getting more bold with her. And that was when I messed up. Because on this one particular weekend, when she came to my house and she saw me, she walked in my room and she gave me a kiss. I grabbed her by the arm and I shut the door. I picked her up because I had got a little bit taller at this point. I was now able to pick her up. I picked her up, I sat her down on the sofa. I sat her on like the arm of the sofa. And I started kissing her on the neck. And I just started kissing her. And she grabbed me and pushed me against the wall. And we both like fell over the sofa somehow. Now, we get up off the floor. I don't know where she got this stuff from, but she had some lipstick in her pocket. When she got up, she had put some lipstick on. And she started kissing me again. So, every time I think about this, I crack up. Man, this story is funny, bro. So, she started kissing me again. Now, when we had felt, I guess my mom probably heard it when we fell over on the floor. So I could hear my mom outside of the door saying, "Why is this door closed? What are y'all doing in there?" And she walked in, and we both were just standing there looking at her like we didn't, like, you know how people hide rocks behind their back? They had rocks in their hand, hiding it behind their back. That's how we were standing there. It was funny, bro. That's how we were standing there looking at her. And I got lipstick all over my face, all over the collar of my shirt and everything, man. Yo, my mom, my mom was like, "What the?" She was like, she was just speechless for about 10 minutes. She didn't say a word, man. She couldn't believe her eyes. So, mind you, we're only 11 years old. We should not be doing this. We should not be in a room with the door closed doing what we were doing. And we boldly did this in the presence of my mother. My mother was still in the house, bro. It wasn't like she stepped away for a moment. Like I said, I had gotten too bold. I didn't really care anymore, man. I wanted to show her that I wasn't scared to go there with her because I felt like she was being pushy. So my mom called up her mom, told her what happened. Her mom wasn't happy about it. Siobhan could no longer spend the night at my house anymore. Bro, I was heated. I was pissed about that, man. Because I had finally stopped being so nervous and afraid around her. When I finally got some courage to step to her and not be so damn nervous around her like all the time, it got taken away from me quickly. So, I didn't see her for a long time after this. But she wasn't staying at her godmother's house anymore either. I guess her mom, um, didn't want her there anymore either. Just in case. So I didn't see Siobhan for a long time after that. I would see her in school and stuff sometimes, but it wasn't the same. We couldn't be seen around each other anymore. If you know what I mean, if we were seen together, I would get in trouble, she would get in trouble. I thought it was messed up, bro, because you know what I mean. We were just that for that whole time, man. She was more like a friend of mine than a real actual relationship. It wasn't like we were having sex or anything like that. We ain't never have sex. We were just having fun. You know what I'm saying? We were just kids having fun. So, I gotta tell. I'm gonna make a part two to this because this story interweaves with other stories, and I gotta come back with a part two. I'm gonna make this story in a way where it's not too long and it's not too overarching with other plot lines. So I'll be back, okay? Peace.